Hi everyone, it's Kel. I hope you're doing well. I want to just pop on and say hi. I have been so busy cleaning up this farm and getting my stuff together because I'll be leaving in just over a week. And that's what I've been doing. Super busy, crazy busy, because there really isn't anybody here but me. So what I wanted to talk about today was regression. And I was actually regressed 25 years ago, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But I had heard about regression. I didn't quite know what it was. I wasn't sure if you were just completely sort of hypnotized and you didn't know what was going on, or if you were sort of aware, or if you had to go into a meditation, or what it was. Regression is kind of like meditation and hypnosis at the same time, without the focus of meditation. You are led by a practitioner who helps you become very calm and very still and go back. And you are awake the entire time. So it's kind of interesting. You're in this world, but you're having all these visions. And anyways, 25 years ago, I had just had a baby and I was down at the Starbucks because I told you I'm kind of a Jane, pretty regular Jane. So I can't, it's been a very bizarre life when you're very aware of what's happening to you or around you. I had gone down to the Starbucks to have my little Starbucks. I'd had a baby, had her in a little basket, and I was sitting in the Starbucks waiting for them to make my coffee. I was going to go. And I heard these guys talking at the table beside me, an older guy and two younger ones, and he was chatting about regression, and I was interested. I was listening to the whole conversation. It was so fascinating. And I reached over and I said, excuse me, and I asked a few questions, and then him and I got into a huge conversation, the older fellow, and he says, well, let me regress you. And I said, okay, when? He says, well, how about now? I said, great. I live just down the street. Come to my house. So I went back home, put the baby to bed for her afternoon nap, and I laid on the couch and he sat beside me and he put me into this state. It was really interesting because, quite frankly, I didn't think he'd be able to do it. And I said, listen, I don't want you to get bummed out if I don't see anything or go into any hypnosis or have any kind of outcome that you might expect. And he said, no worries, let's give it a go. And I said, okay, great. Now, other people I have known that talk about, I was this in my past life. I was Cleopatra in my past life. I was Audrey Hepburn in my past life. I was, Oscar Wilde in my past life. You know how you have friends that are always sort of a little bit on the grandiose side. Well, I actually had no idea what or who I was in. I mean, I had nothing to go on. I never thought about it. I never thought I was really anything. I just never went down that path. So after our little conversation, he got me into state and he put me into this strangely hypnotic state where I was experiencing all this stuff, and yet I was still sort of in this world. I could hear, the birds chirping in the back, and I could hear the little hum of the fridge, but I was completely immersed in this other world. It was it was bizarre, interesting, the awareness. So he brought me back to my last life, and in this life, he said, look down at your feet and tell me what you see. And I looked down at my feet with didn't have any clue what was going on. And the feet, oh my gosh, they were like this big. They were huge, and they were bare feet, and they were really hairy, like white skin and big, coarse, black, hairy. And then he said, well, what about your legs? And I looked at my legs and I went, oh my gosh, same thing. Turns out I was a short little guy, kind of wiry. I was wearing this little skirt thing. I was in a field, and I had this coarse black hair all over my body. It was kind of like a caveman in a way. I was completely shocked after. During the whole experience, I was completely immersed and just like, whoa, whoa. And I was in this field of wheat out in the middle of nowhere. And there didn't seem, in the beginning of the regression, that there was anybody there. But then he had me go through the day and where I was going. And I was going to this little hole that was in this field. And I went down into the little hole, and it was this underground dugout. It was like a cave underground. And I had dug it out myself. And I was so proud at this big dirt hole that I dug out and was going to be my home, or was, I think it was my home, but there was no bed, no nothing. It was just this big dirt dugout in the ground, this big underground kind of thingy. And I guess, like, it wasn't that big. It was probably as big as this room that I'm in right now, which is pretty small, like a standard bedroom. But the ceiling was lower, of course, and I was very short. Here's the interesting part of the dream. As I was looking around this, I became very aware that someone was there. And I looked over, and indeed someone was there, and it was a friend, quote, quote, that I was showing my place to because I was so proud. And this friend was someone that I knew in real life. Now, I don't know what they look like. It was just this whole message, as it turns out, years later when I look back, a message had been given to me by the Divine Mother, the goddess. She wasn't there, but this is her realm, the subconscious. And when I was in the dream, she was telling me through feeling to be very aware of this person, very wary of this person, because this person was going to take the thing that I treasured most from me in this life. And I was shocked when I came out of the dream, and I didn't mention anything to this person, but this person was extremely close to me, very extremely close to me. And as I came out of the regression, life went on as normal. I said, wow, that was kind of cool. Thanks very much. You know, bizarre, but super cool. He had been doing regression with people for years, most of his life, apparently. I forgot his name. I had written it down, but life has just been so busy for me. I had never taken the time to link back. But he was very, very good, obviously. And I will not forget that feeling of being very wary of this person who had a very prominent position in my life, a family member, very, very close to me. And again, the warning was, you must be careful of this person in your home because they are going to take the thing that you treasure most. And I kept reflecting on that, imagining, okay, well, I have nothing in that home, in the earth, this dirt home. There was nothing there to steal. And I sort of wondered about it in that way. But as it turns out, a few years went by, and indeed, this person did in fact take the thing that I treasured most away from me. And it was the most traumatic experience in my entire life. and super intense time. The thing that I'm pointing out is that in this realm, this subconscious realm, the mother's realm, which is dream, hypnosis, and all things associated with those two alternative worlds, she delivers the truth through feeling. And these are realms that it's very difficult to get a clear grasp on, like the meaning. And this is the power of understanding metaphor. And it's also, it used to be being able to interpret dreams and the metaphor of the subconscious and how they're communicating, how it's communicating, I'm sorry, is something that used to be very treasured centuries ago. And it's very, I would imagine, very difficult. And when we try to understand our own dreams, usually it's the dreamer that has to kind of unfold it. But I have read many books on dreams, and I'm reading one on self-discovery right now where they talk about this. And it can be very illuminating. Now, don't go and get all paranoid. I mean, I could have had a little bit more savvy when that happened to me many years ago. But I mean, A, I'm super trusting, and B, I thought, gee, that was just really odd because I wasn't into all the things that I'm totally into now. I was just really into the outside things of the world, but I wasn't into the inside things of the world, which are the most fascinating, all that which you cannot see. So that's my regression. I was a skinny, short, but strong, super strong, hairy person, hairy man in my last life, probably my only life. I don't know how many lives I've had, but that was very poignant and a complete surprise, of course, complete surprise. So you might like to try regression one day. And I just wanted to really tell you about this strange thing that happened to me. And to also be a little cognizant of your dreams. You know, if they feel very profound, then they kind of are. If they feel strange, then they might relate to something. Like feel the feeling of the dream, not just what you see in it. But of course, everything plays a part to put a picture together. So, you know, it's not just the paint, you need the canvas, and it's not just the canvas, you need the water, the medium to rinse the brush. It's like you need a plethora of things to kind of come to a certain understanding of the communications. But I'll tell you, the biggest one is through feeling. The biggest knowledge, you gain the most through getting the emotional message, because an emotional message can tell you more than any kind of thing you are visualizing. But again, the two generally work together, right? The vision and then the feeling. And of course, we're doing that all day long as well, right? And over lifetimes, we are always building our emotional intelligence. So really, I hope you got something out of this video that can help you. I just wanted to pop on because I've been so busy. I wanted to share the story with you and see if any of you have been regressed and what happened to you. So I'd love to hear your stories. So please comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'm not super regular, but I do come on whenever I can and talk about all things Kundalini. And again, would love to hear anything from you guys. I'd love to hear your comments and your stories about you, if you've tried regression and how it went for you. or anything related. So other than that, I'm going to finish cleaning this place and get it all ready. I'm going to show you a video of the little house when it's done. I don't think I've even done a video before it was done. I wish I'd had a before and after because it's like a 180. But other than that, I want you all to have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.